It's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share this episode. So do people treat you different when your girl is attractive? That's the question of the day. And I think almost everybody has experienced this, or at some point you will. It could go either way. It could go either way, really. You know what I mean? This can go either way. It depends on the circles you hang around with, the people you're around with, your family. Your family plays a part in this too. They might not even be aware of it. You know, sometimes people might act a certain type of way. Maybe you can see it, but others might not see it. That happens. There's a bunch of examples of this. Just in society, American society. In American society, if a woman is attractive in the mainstream media, even though she might be a dirty, rotten scandal of a woman, a large percentage of the population will give her the benefit of the doubt. Even though she might be a dirty, rotten scandalous, they'll give her the benefit of the doubt. If a guy comes in and say, hey, complaining about what this woman done to him, some people will say, hey, what'd you do to her to make her act like that? I ain't ever seen her act like that. You must have done something. But if that same woman was an ugly duckling, to most people, now let's just be honest. Now, looks is subjective. Now, for the most part, it is. You know, what I think looks good, you might not think looks good. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get that out the way. But there's always an exception to the rule. And then there's what some people call the international look, too, you know? So that would be the exception to the rule, where the international look would be, regardless of where this woman goes, everyone thinks she looks good. You know, like, let me see a good example. Tyra Banks is a good example. Everywhere Tyra Banks goes, everyone will say she's a good looking woman, regardless of her age, regardless of where she's from, regardless of, you know, any country she's a good looking woman. So that's like the international beauty, if you want to call it that. You know, so that would be the exception to the rule. But for the most part, looks is subjective. Most of the women that I like and you like, somebody probably is going to say, she ain't attractive to me. She might be attractive to you. If that works for you, that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know? But if the majority of people in the public eye thinks that the woman is unattractive, she's not going to get the benefit of the doubt then, in most cases. Unless she's Caucasian. That's usually the only way that I've seen, you know, especially if she's fat. If she's fat, overweight, And then unattractive to most guys. Oh well, women too. I forgot about that. Got a lot of studs and lesbians out here, and then the women too. And see, another thing you got to think about. This is how you can use this to your advantage. The attractive looks and everything. You can use this to your advantage sometimes because once you know how these things work amongst people, you can use it to your advantage. You might be going to an event and you might tell one of your girlfriends, hey, I want you to go somewhere with me, go to an event or a party or something like that, right? And if let's say she could be a 7. It don't even matter. She could be a 6. It don't even matter. But let's just say she's attractive more than the girls that they would mostly than the girls that you would see your buddies around. She's attractive. She's much more attractive versus the girls that they hang around and spend time with. If that's the case, you're gonna stick out at that party or at that conference or at that event. You can use that to your advantage. That's just how that is. I don't know why it's like that, but that's just how it goes. The women that are the most attractive in the room stick out. That's just how that is. That's just how that goes. You get treated differently, better in most cases. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's usually how it goes. That's usually how it goes. You know, based on my experience. Now, if you got a fat, it could go the other way too. If you got a girl that's fat and unattractive, out of shape, and a bad attitude, boy, that's gonna be you're gonna be just like everybody else. If as far as taking her to the party or event or conference or something like that, you know. Yeah. I remember one time, um, I took a girl home with me one time. And I went to I think I went to my uncle's house. Someplace. I think I went to my uncle's house. But it was late. I mean, it was late to him. It was late to, it's 9 o'clock, a little after 9. So, old people, 9 o'clock is late for old people, right? But, I haven't been home for a long time at that time. It's probably been at that time, I've probably been like a year or two. I think probably 2 years since I've been home at the time. So I was eager to go home. So I was like, I want to see my uncles and my aunts. So I'm trying to go to as many people house as I can within 2 days. And I got a big family. So I went to my uncle's house after 9. And I ring the doorbell, and he came to the door and he was like, hey, boy, what the hell are you doing out here this time of night? It's late as hell out here, right? That's his first few words. He didn't say hello. He didn't say how you doing. He didn't say none of that. What the hell are you doing out here this time of night, right? And as soon as he saw me with a woman that was attractive, his whole demeanor changed. Man. As soon as he saw her, he was like, "Oh, well, how you doing? Come on in. How y'all doing, man?" His whole demeanor changed, man. Just like that, within the seconds. So that's a good example of how you can get treated different and sometimes better. You know? Now, if I was by myself that night, he probably would have been just talking shit until for the first probably 10, 15 minutes. And then he would probably calm down. And then, I'll probably be there for like no more than an hour. And I probably would end up leaving. Right? Now, once he saw that I had a girl with me, he was like, "Man, y'all can stay the night. Y'all ain't got to go nowhere." Yeah. He was like, "Man," my uncle's like, "Y'all can stay the night. Y'all ain't got to go nowhere. Man, I got 4 rooms in here. And it's just, I live by myself," which is true. He do live by himself. But I'm telling you, he ain't never told me I could stay with him. Not when I was by myself. He only does that shit when I got a woman with me. you know? And I didn't plan on staying there at all. But that's just one example of how people treat you different. It treat you better in most cases if you have a woman. You can use your woman as leverage. I ain't talking about pimping a woman out either. That's some other shit there. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about pimping your woman out. But I'm talking you can use your woman as leverage, to get in certain doors. I've definitely done that many times, because it's something about when you having a woman beside you when you go to a live event. It's something about that. People just they can't ignore that. Men and women, they just can't ignore that. They just, it's like, who the hell is this guy and girl? Well, first off, they trying to figure out who the hell you are with her. That's the first thing they're trying to do. The men and women, that's usually how it go. Especially if the girl you're with is showing cleavage. Yeah, she might have on a tight ass dress, and her ass is poking out the dress, and her arms might be out or something like that. Oh yeah, guys really gonna be looking in. Oh yeah, that's almost a given. And you gonna have some women in there looking too. Shit, women be looking. A lot of lesbian women out here and studs. Shit, they be looking. Yeah, they be looking. Yeah, and it doesn't really matter where a woman's from either. It don't even matter. It don't matter. Shit. As a matter of fact, if it's been times where I went to like events. Shit, I'm the only black person in here. Well, we're the only black couple in there, I should say. We're the only black couple in there. So we really stick out. We're the only black couple in here in a room of probably at least 100 people at the time. At least 100 people. I'm the only black person in a room of 100 people. And then there's been times where I went to an event where this chick was from where the hell this bro was from? She's a Latina, but she was from uh shit, I forgot where she was from. She was from South America somewhere. One of them islands down there that I never heard of. You know. But her ass was shooting out that damn dress. You know. And I'm well, no, there's another black dude in there. But it wasn't many. But I was the only black dude in there with a Latina. For sure. And it was only like 50 something people. It wasn't a lot. So I had people coming up to me asking me, hey, introducing themselves. Hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. What's your name? You know, that has happened too. You know, people are just curious. Well, they're curious for probably a couple reasons why they're curious. Because they see me with her, a Latin woman, and she's like, what? I think she was in her late 30s at the time. You know, and I'm like 30. I think I'm like 30 at the time. So she's older than me. So first off, well, I'm not sure if they could tell if she was older than me or not. But she's older than me. She's a Latin woman. I'm the only black dude in there with her. So with just that dynamic, it within itself will have a lot of people curious. Hey, where y'all from? You know, it'd be like a lot of people ask that. You know, and who do you know here? You know, it'd be questions, stuff like that. You know, that's we stick out. You know, I mean, a lot of them rooms where it ain't a lot of black people, you're gonna stick out regardless. Really, especially if you're the only one. That's usually how it go. That's almost a given. You know, so you stick out in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different environments. Could be with your family, could be with your friends, could be with strangers. You know, it just depends on the people you're around. But here's where things get a little things get a little I would say problematic. Sometimes if some people get jealous. Some people get jealous when they see you with certain types of broads, certain types of women. Some people will get jealous. And some people might get a little aggressive. Men and women might get a little aggressive. I've had men and women get a little aggressive based on the girl I was with. This happens. This happened it probably happened 2-3 times if I can remember. You know. But you got to handle that the best way as possible. You know, there's a way to deal with that. There's a way to isolate the situation. You know, and hopefully it works. Sometimes you might have to whip some ass. Some people get disrespectful. You know, some people go too far. There's some people, man, unfortunately, man, you can't really talk to them like civilized people. Some people are just not civilized like that. And They're not built, they're not raised to be able to talk things out like men. Some people you might have to slap them one good time or tell them to fuck off. You know, there's some people you might have to say something like that or do something like that to them because they don't listen. Some people just don't listen. The only language they understand is aggression. Some people are just like some guys, men and women. Some people are just like that. You know, some people. If you're not if you don't have some type of aggression within your voice, they kind of might think you're soft. Yeah, they might think you're weak, soft. Yeah, so until you might have to, might have to get a little loud and show them that hey, you ain't playing. You ain't the one to be playing with. And they don't want no problem with you. That happens, man. That happens. For me personally, I've always tried to avoid violence because I was taught different than most people when it comes to getting violent. I wasn't taught that hey, you beat them. I wasn't taught to just beat people up. No, I was taught to go all the way. So, if you know what I mean when I say go all the way. So that's why I always tried to avoid violence. Getting violent is the last resort. It's like you've done everything you could to avoid the situation, and it just didn't work. So you had to do what you had to do. It's like damn near a life death situation. You know, yeah, that's how I see it. That's how I operate anyway. You know, especially if I'm dressed, man. If I'm dressed, I ain't trying to get in no scuffle. Yeah, if I'm suited and booted, man, I ain't trying to get in no scuffle with nobody. You know, and by any means, by no means, I ain't trying to do any of that. And especially if I'm with a broad, I ain't. A lot of women are kind of, they scary, whatever. So yeah, I ain't trying to have no woman in no chaos, no drama, if I can help it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm by myself is one thing, but if I'm with a woman, I will try to avoid that any type of violence by any means necessary. But sometimes, man, some people just don't listen, man, and that's just how that is. A lot of people are uncivilized, so you might have to represent at some point. You know, some people have a problem with there's a lot of haters out here. Some people have a problem with seeing certain guys with certain women because they feel like you ain't supposed to have her. You ain't supposed to be with her because he ain't with her. That's what it really comes down to. He ain't got her or can't get her or probably wanted to be with her, but she's with you. And see, that's where the jealousy stems from. You know, they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing with her?" I'm like, "Well, shit, what kind of weird question is that? You weirdo." You know, you have some people, they think like this, but some people actually come out and say it because they can't hold it in no more. Because that hate is balling inside. It's steaming like a damn pot on the stove, balling over. They can't take it no more. They just got to find out how the hell you were able to pull her. He was like, damn. Yeah, you getting the girl he want, and he's going home after the damn party with no girl jacking off at the end of the night. You know? So see, that's where a lot of that comes in. That's where a lot of that stems from. You know, it's like he's like, damn, I can't win for losing. That's the loser's personality. That's the loser's mentality. He can't win for losing. You know, every girl he try to get she says no, or bullshit him. Yeah. But meanwhile, I never even asked her out. She just told me to come over. I ain't had to take her out and do all that extra shit. But he does. He got to take her out to a restaurant, take her out on the weekends, out of town, some fucking place, who knows where. He got to do all that extra shit to get a little attention from her. Meanwhile, I didn't do none of that shit. All I did is told her to come over, or I went over her house, smash, and I'll call you in a couple of days, or see you the next time. That's all I did. You know. Yeah, I ain't had to do all that, you know. I ain't had to babysit the kid, or pick the baby up, or pick the kid up from school. No, I ain't had to do none of that. You know, I ain't picking up nobody else's kid anyway. Hell no. You know, what I'm doing that for? It ain't my kid. Shit. Yeah, I ain't doing all that. That ain't my responsibility. But a lot of that jealousy that's where a lot of that jealousy comes from. These bras be using the hell out of these dudes. They be using the hell out of these dudes. This is why when I was in my 20s, I used to share my stories. Some of my stories. Whatever it was, man, I stopped doing that shit real quick. Because I realized that a lot of these other guys didn't have the same experience as I had. So I'm like, man, shit, I gotta cut that shit out. And a lot of these guys started to look at me with jealousy and envy. Cause they like, oh, I ain't ever had no girl tell me no shit like that. It's like that type of dynamic started to happen. I ain't ever had no girl do that for me. And I like, no, I ain't never had no girl tell me I was too big. You know, it's that type of shit. I'm like, oh, damn, sorry, dude. You know, it's that type of shit. So I just learned to keep my mouth closed after a while. You know. Yeah, I stopped because I realized that we might be friends and everything, but we have a different experience with females. You know, that's what I realized at the time. Not afterwards. You know, I'm just keep my mouth closed. and women go through the same shit too. But I think the difference between men and women is if when a woman tells another woman, or her friends especially, that hey, this happened, we were getting it on the other night, it went down, and we got down and dirty. If a woman starts talking to another woman like that, she in her mind, she's like, I'm about to go test him out if I get a chance. Now I'm not saying guys won't do that, but I don't think a lot of guys. I don't think that's the first thing that they think about once you tell them what happened with y'all last night. I think women immediately think about how she can smash the dude behind her friend's back. Because see, if a guy tells his buddy that hey, I got a good woman, right? I mean, you don't necessarily got to be I mean, she's a filthy McNasty. Okay, that's one thing. But let's say a guy tells his buddy, "Hey, I got a good girl. I like her. She she cool in the game and everything, whatever." And maybe your buddy might meet her, and you'd be like, "Hey, this is the girl I've been telling you about 6 months ago, or whatever, right?" And your buddy might like her, and he might say, "Hey, I need a girl like her." And your buddy might even ask her, "Hey, you got any friends? You got any girls friends that's just like you?" He might be so impressed with her, he might even ask her if she got some friends, right? And that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But a woman ain't gonna do that. A woman is gonna be she might introduce her girlfriend to her guy. Oh, it ain't necessarily gotta be her boyfriend or husband or anything like that. A woman ain't gonna say, "Oh, I need a man like him." She gonna be like, "I want him." That's the difference. Yeah, I said it. That's the difference. The woman is gonna be like, "I want him." And I'm willing to stab her in the back to get him, even if it's for one night. That's the difference between the woman's perspective versus the man's perspective. In most cases, that's the difference. A lot of women are cutthroat when it comes to being around guys. And so that's how a lot of women operate. Cutthroat. But you know what? They don't necessarily see it as cutthroat though. Based on me just talking to other women about it, they don't necessarily see it as them being cutthroat. They look at it like, hey, it's fair game. Whoever I get, I win. And you just lose. Hey, he chose me. I won. That's how a lot of women look at it. It's anything goes. That's how they look at it. Now guys don't necessarily see it like that, because there's a reason for that though. Women ain't. I mean, the average woman ain't gonna really do nothing to a woman if she does some foul shit. They're not gonna really do nothing to each other. Yeah, she might slap her one good time. That's every once in a while, a woman might slap another woman, something like that, or jump on her. But that ain't the average woman. The average woman ain't gonna touch another woman. But the average dude will. If a dude finds out that his buddy is probably sleeping with his wife or sleeping with a girl that he's close to, there's a good chance there's going to be some static between them two guys. It's going to be some tension there. And it could go down. Shit could get violent. That's usually how that goes. If something is going to be, it might not be violence, but something is going to be said between them two guys. But a woman, no. She might, I mean, they might talk about it, or, you know, or she'll just cut her off and probably cut the dude off too. You know, but a woman ain't gonna really get violent. That's my point. A woman ain't gonna really get violent with another woman. Not really. You know. So there's no consequences. That's why women do what they do in situations like that. For the most part. Because if most women knew that they would get beat up by another woman if they touched a man, they probably wouldn't do it very often. They probably wouldn't do no foul shit very often like that. But a lot of women know that, hey, what's going to happen to me if she finds out that I've been sleeping with her husband for all these years? What's she going to do? She ain't going to do nothing. And that's usually how it goes, you know? That's usually how it goes. But at the end of the day, people do treat you different. They look at you different if you're with an attractive woman. That's just what it is, you know? That's just what it is, for different reasons, though. It's not just because she look good. It's for all different reasons, you know. And one last thing, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get out of here. If you're with a woman that's from another culture, I don't care what that woman says to you. I don't care how much she says she likes you. I love you. I don't care what she says to you. I don't care how much they rolled out the red carpet for you. Because I know some of you guys will get caught up in the, oh man, that shit, her family's so nice and all this. Okay, that's great. You're not wrong. All right, cool, whatever. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Those guys and her family and her community are never going to be happy that you're with her. I don't care what she says to you. They're never going to be happy that you're with her. And always keep that in mind. I don't care how much, I don't care what the dad said. See, here's the thing about that dad. The mom already talked to the dad already. Because, see, that's her husband. The mom already told her husband, your girl's dad, that, hey, now leave him alone now. They come, your daughter coming over here today with her boyfriend or fiance. Leave him alone. Be nice to him. Don't say anything that's gonna be offensive. You know, behave yourself. I know he's a foreigner. He's an American. But hey, your daughter's happy with him. So as long as she's happy with him, leave him alone. You know, the mom already done prepped the husband in advance. You don't know that, but that's usually how it goes. You know, as long as the daughter happy, mom gonna be like, the dad, he gonna go along with it. He gonna be like, oh, okay, you know, it's but them guys, her uncles and cousins and brother, the dad ain't never gonna be. They're never going to accept that shit. No, you know. And don't let them turn you into a cash cow, a cash machine either. You ain't no damn bank. Don't fall for that. Because a lot of these guys go overseas and start, well, they don't got to necessarily go overseas. You can do that here in America. A lot of these guys start dating these girls from these other communities. They start doing too much. They're doing more shit that for this woman than he ever done with any woman in his life. Doing all this extra shit. I'd be like, bro, what you doing, bro? You looking out for the family, man? What? Hell, let them take care of themselves. Shit, I ain't no savior. You take that cape off, man. I ain't Superman. I ain't super nigga. Hell, if the dad can't take care of them, well, shit, that's on him. I ain't obligated to do that shit. Give nobody no money and fix up the damn house. Well, hell, I got my own house to fix, to maintain. If I don't maintain if I'm fixing up their house, how the hell that's taken away from my household. Hell no, I ain't doing that shit. If I'm taking care of their household, that's taken away from my household, from my kids, my family. No, I ain't obligated to do that. And this is where a lot of guys do that shit. And they can't, most of these guys can't really afford to do it in most cases, but they do it anyway. So don't feel like you have to do it. And then a lot of these guys, you know, go overseas. They'll be like, hey, the dollar's more over here. Yeah, so just because the dollar is stronger over here and it lasts longer, that don't mean you should give the damn money away. Hell. Just because you can do something, that don't mean you should do it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know? And they'll try, then a lot of these guys will justify and say, well, it's only $40 a month. I don't give a damn. I can take that $40 and go and buy some damn food. I don't give a damn how much money it was. That $40 is still going out of my household. I don't give a damn if it's $10. Shit. That money is still going out of my household. I could take that $40 and go buy my kid some shit that he needs. But I'm giving the $40 to your mama or your daddy. No, I'm not doing that. No. You know, because you know these other people, they have they have a different mindset, you know, than we do over here. I swear, I don't know what the fuck going on, man. You know, shit can be falling apart, and the dad or nobody's trying to get shit done. I mean, shit just stay there, and it could be for years. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you a story. I remember one time I was I was where was I? I think it's in Thailand. I was in Thailand, right? And I met this girl, and I knew her for at least a year. So I met her family and everything. And I mean her family, they wasn't I would say they didn't have a lot of money. I'll say it like that. But the house where they live, it needed a lot of work, right? And there was a hole in the wall of the house at the time. It was a hole in the wall of the house. If I'm in the house, or even outside the house, I can see outside, literally, right? So I asked her, "Hey, how long that hole been in the wall right there?" And she said it's been there for 4 years, like that. That hole been in the wall of the house for 4 years, right? So I said, "Well, goddamn, how long it takes to get fixed, right?" And she was like, "She don't know." She's like, "I don't know anything about like building a house, or anything like or repairing a house." She's like, "I don't know nothing. I don't know how that stuff works." So I said, "What about your dad? What the hell he doing?" He like, he's like, "I don't know why he didn't get it fixed." You know. So now I'm like I said, I've known this girl for a year, and I've been to her family's house. I don't know, a couple times, at least 6, 7 times, right? So I'm like, "Hey, you gonna get that shit?" So I asked him one day, "Hey, when you gonna get the hole in the wall fixed?" He's like, he said, "You don't know." I'm like, "What? What the fuck?" Because we every time I see him, he's drinking all the time. I mean, everybody's partying, drinking, holidays, the same thing, right? Hey, bro, fucking spend the money on the damn house repairs instead of spending on alcohol. You got to get your priorities straight. And that's when this is a good example of what I'm talking about. People's priorities, it's like, it's not really first. It's in most cases when it comes to other groups of people, because see, over here, we I was raised take care of home. That's how I was. My dad told me, "Hey, take care of home. Always take care of home first. The home front has to always be taken care of, right?" I don't know what these other groups of people have been told. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. But I know I asked the dad, "Hey, you want me to help you fix the hole?" And he was like, "Oh, okay." So I knew a guy. I called the guy to come over to the house to fix the fucking hole because I got tired of looking at that shit after a year. And the shit was only, I think I might have paid that dude $20 to fix the fucking hole in the wall, man. And it's been like that for 4 years. And I fixed it probably after 6 months after getting to know them. And that's kind of sad to be honest. Yeah, but hey, man, it's just a different mindset when it comes to other groups of people. And like we're built different. We're built different over here. Everybody ain't built the same. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna end this. So share this episode. Don't forget to hit the Cash App if you like what you heard. So until next time, I'm out.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Here from Cali, I live in the valley.